My guest today is a transformational life and relationship coach, speaker, and author dedicated to helping people break cycles, heal unspoken wounds, and rise into their most authentic selves. In this episode, we talk about relationships and the radical accountability it takes to heal, owning not just our wounds, but the part we play in accepting crumbs from partners who aren't ready to rise and meet us where we truly are. Enjoy the episode. Hello, beautiful humans. Welcome back to another episode of the Skin I'm In podcast. I'm your host, Chanel, and this is the space where real stories meet radical self-discovery. Here, you'll find peace through clarity, purpose through inspiration, and the permission to be your authentic self through the stories of men and women who've walked the path before us. If this show moves you, hit that like button, share it with someone you care about, or subscribe so you never miss an episode. That small but powerful act helps the show grow and brings in the guest you most want to hear from. In return, my promise to you is that I'll keep showing up with the raw, the real, and the conversations that crack us wide open, reminding us we're not alone. So, let's dive in and find the light in the shadows together. Welcome to the Skin I'm In podcast, Alexander. How are you?
I am great. How are you doing?
I am good. I'm excited to have this conversation because you are a life and relationship coach, and some of the stuff you talk about on your socials deeply resonate with me. I mean, a lot of them do. So let's start with how you even got into this line of work. What led you to start doing this kind of transformation and to get into the transformation and healing space as a coach?
Yeah, that's a great question. One, my life. I guess the invitation was being a father and getting to a place where the mother of my kids said that I need a man who knows who he is. And I was just like, you're right. Because I have led her to a point where it was a dead end, you know, and spiraling after that, I'm like, man, okay, what kind of father do I want to be? You know, what kind of brother do I want to be? What kind of son do I want to be? What kind of person do I want to be? See, I've given a lot of myself to other people doing the thing that people told me I should do, the thing that was my gift or my purpose, which was dribbling a basketball, right? Shooting a basketball in a hoop. And when that was no more, I had no identity, you know. So I got into this work not knowing that there was a space, you know, of healing, of transformation, of self-discovery. I just got tired of being someone that didn't know where I was going in my own life.
Would you say that in your experience, the men that you perhaps come across in your, when you're speaking, coaching, does it take a woman to say something like that to them, or is it as common? Because I feel like that might be common, just because of all the women that I know that are saying that to their partners and being like, "I can't keep doing this with you." Do you find that is the most common reason why men start to question who they want to be?
Absolutely. I mean, it's just my belief. Like, I believe the closest thing to God is through women. Like, everybody that you see on planet Earth has came through, you know, no, there's no other way. So oftentimes, yeah, oftentimes it's doing the thing that we were told to do and still not being good enough. And it stems from a mother wound, right? Or it stems from a father wound, you know, of having to perform in order to receive. And so sometimes when you get met with rejection, when you get met with, hey, you're leading from a place of ego, you're leading from a place of fear, this doesn't feel good to me. Well, because I didn't have an example, I didn't have the roadmap, I can no longer guide you. And look at all the damage that I've done in the process of being an inefficient leader, you know, in my own life. So I mean, I would say for at least 95% of men, it's probably came from some level of a heartbreak because most men never truly bounce back from that heartache. And then they get online, and from a hurt perspective, they're the loudest voices online. And that's more damaging because then other hurt and damaged men all get together, and because they don't have a lot of power, they start to look for women that they can have power over, emotionally, physically. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, I think it's real. I think you're right on the money.
That's interesting to me because maybe because I'm not surrounded by men, that I don't see that uh, um, happening out in my own life. So talk to me about, because you said rejection.
Mhm.
Rejection can come in so many different forms. It's not physical only. Can you talk about that rejection piece and why men are so afraid of it?
We're afraid of getting it wrong. you know, um, Even if I was to ask my son, who is 9, hey, bring me back the Sharpie, right? And let's say he brought me back the pen. Most men would operate in a space where how can you not tell the difference between a pen and a Sharpie, right? To this little boy. But who's going to teach? Who's going to slow down enough to say, hey, what made you choose that one? Or it looks like this. But because men have literally been programmed or trained, rather, to do the thing that's going to get someone's attention, perform in a way in order to receive love, go get those good grades. And if you don't, I'm going to withdraw my time, love, and attention and affection. And so the rejection is sometimes it's an invitation to why do I even feel this way when I can't get what I want? You do that long enough, you'll start seeing, is that something that I even need? You start doing then you start being. You're like, okay, you can be with that thought. You can say, okay, if I do this, then this is the outcome of that. But why am I doing it in the first place? Is it to receive something? Right? And so most men don't sit still long enough to ask themselves questions. So, because again, back into the performance piece, they will go outsource their power, right? And they go look for the affirmation. If it's not from you, then it's from her. If it's not from her, then it's from him. If it's not from him, then I'm gonna go to the gym, right? Or I'm gonna go create the business. I'm gonna go do the thing. And then when I finally get there, I'm going to show everybody that I've made it, only to realize that people were more engulfed in their life than you were about that being your motivation.
God, I'm sitting here with so many thoughts. Because I think, I look over my own life and my own relationships, that of my friends and, anyone that I talk to on the show. And I wonder sometimes, the women that I know and myself, I will speak for myself, it seems that we only ever ask for the version of yourself that we can see that you cannot. When I say you, I don't mean you, obviously, I mean men.
Mhm.
Right? And it's almost like that is what we fall in love with. That's the potential piece that so many women are attracted to. And when we don't see that manifesting in the relationship tends to fall apart. So then there is an aspect of this that's coming up for me where women are also responsible for the ways in which the men that they love are showing up in that space. Is it safe enough for them to actually show up? Is it safe enough for them to let go of the things that they're dealing with or using as armor to protect themselves? And at the same time, there is a line that can be drawn for a lot of women, and we get there, is that I cannot continue helping you try to see who you are if you're not willing to see that for yourself.
Yeah.
I
Sometimes
anticipate you
it's,
come up with that a lot.
yeah, I mean, let's do this. Sometimes women go to therapy, right? Sometimes women go on their own journey of healing only to be met with the guy that they're trying to drag into, hey, now that I have the information, show up for me this way because here's what I've learned. So it's almost like they're weaponizing their knowledge against against this man who, yes, one could be an invitation to, but maybe he just doesn't want to. Maybe those feelings that he's been suppressing since childhood are just too big enough for him to navigate. Therefore, it's now on the woman to make a decision. Like the mother of my kids said, hey, I need a man who needs to, hey, we've been doing this for a while now, and you're not picking up what I'm putting down. So I'm just gonna let you be. And you'll figure it out. I trust for you to figure it out. But I have to go live my life. And for me not to, no, 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 no. Because that would have just been me continuing to be on the cycle. Right. And so sometimes the best gift that a woman can do is just say, hey, I love you, but this is not mine. I've done mine. It's time you do yours. And so there are a lot of women, yes, who come to me and say, hey, can you help my man? And he needs to listen to you. You can't operate that way because he's stuck in he's like this. He doesn't see anything else. He's like, well, if you like that, we'll go be with that. Because all I have is a box of 8 crayons. If you want somebody that has 16 crayons, well, that's not me. I just have 8. And he's giving you literally the invitation to say, you know what? I do deserve a man that has the box of 16 crayons to color with. You want him to have blue. He may have baby blue.
Yeah.
But I got dark blue, so here you go. Like this is all I could do. But you're like, well, I want dark blue, a sky blue, royal blue. And so sometimes what women are asking from a man, he is just incapable of doing it. But women know that, well, I've seen you be great before. I've seen you overcome so many things before. Well, why can't you overcome this for me? And then it becomes about the woman of like, well, what does that represent for you? If he does the thing for you, should he really be doing it for you? He should be doing it for himself.
Yeah.
And I think that's where people get mixed up and like, hey, no, do what's for you. So yes, the safety part that you mentioned, it's not safe unless someone knows what safety feels like if they cultivated the safety within.
Mm.
It's just like a dog, right? Like I know this is kind of crazy, but it's like a dog that was beaten before you became his owner. And when you go to pet it flinches
Yeah.
because in that same situation, their nervous system remembers when they dug through the trash and their previous owner beat them. So now when you have the dog and you're like, no, hey, come here, and you go to pet it and say, I'm sorry, I didn't feed you. It may still go,
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, anyone who listens to the show knows that I follow an obscene amount of shelters and rescues. So That makes a lot of sense for me, and I anticipate for a lot of people who are listening. It's a shame, though, Alexander. I can't help but feel like it's such a shame because while I get that whole why can't you do this for me, I also think from the perspective of it's actually for us so that we can build a life together, so that we can build something. And then at the same time, I think, but to put myself in those shoes, I have to be responsible for the fact that I'm the one who's changed. I made that choice. Yes, it was out of a place of me trying to understand what I want from my life or how I'm feeling and whatever else. But I think that women often get to a place where they start doing all the work. They realize that they're the ones who've changed. They're asking their partner to get on the journey with them. The partner doesn't want to. And so while a lot of people complain about the fact, or maybe not complain is the right word, but I see a lot, 80% of women are the ones leaving their marriages. It's not the men. Men aren't leaving their marriages. Well, if you look at all the markers as to what makes women live longer and what makes men live longer, men by far, like it's completely outweighed. Everything, all
Hmm.
their markers are high when it comes to being married. And in the same instances, the markers are lower for women. So we're having to, I think, ask ourselves in these situations, well, if he's not going to come along the ride with us, what are we meant to do as women?
Yeah. Yeah. Live your
How are we
life.
meant to continue to create life and bring children into the world when there is a lack of, seemingly, like I said, I'm not surrounded by men,
Hmm.
there seems to be a lack of the desire to take responsibility as men and a resistance to actually want to do the work. So,
Hmm.
how can men start to break their own cycles in this way?
Yeah. There are a lot of men that have to go through heartbreak. There are a lot of men that have to go through not getting what they want. And sometimes that comes at the expense of what you desire in the world. You know, if we can use the word change, but we can really use the word growth. If if I value growth, then no, I can't stay the same. And so you also have to value growth. And there's some people who grow together and they grow apart. It doesn't mean that I love you any less. It just means that what you want me to do that way, I can't go that way. And a lot of times, these men that are the ones that everyone's desiring, right? You know, the 6 foots and the beards and the muscles sometimes they're still afraid of their little itty bitty feelings that they felt. You know, little Timmy took uh Johnny's broccoli when he was 10 years old and he never got over it. You know, and he just never unpacked that. He never went to his mom about it. He never went to his dad about it. He never went to, his friends made fun of him about it. And so think about that. So it's like, one, men historically have been able to hold way more pain, you know, like, I mean, outside of childbirth, but men have been,
Emotional pain.
disclaimer. Yes, they were literally, my dad, for instance, I'm 34. He passed when I was 13. And they said, his best friend said that he was sick with a pain in his belly for like 6 months, losing all kinds of weight. Oh man, it's nothing, man. Oh man, it's nothing. Until he went to the doctor and they said, "Oh, you have cancer." So now the woman that he was with, stepmother, she was like, I was telling him to go get. He was like, no, no. He was just and so the stories that I have that I've seen, the men that were before me, for me, they just weren't great leaders. But every man has the ability to lead. Every man knows that he has that responsibility. And that responsibility, a lot of times, feels heavy. That's the way God intended it to be. And so, whether a man chooses to not do the work or to do the work, because truthfully, I mean, I've been in relationships that I've grown, and this person values growth, but the energy that I've cultivated called her into my life. I was still very much operating in a wound. I was operating in a space where, oh, it's still my responsibility to be able to help somebody elevate. And when I did that, it was easier, it was cheaper, and I can say this fully with my chest because it allowed me to take my eyes off my own life. So let me help them and let me rise them up and let me get them to the place so that way I can get love. But when I said, hey, listen, I no longer want to be someone's parent. I want to be someone's partner. I'm ready to be someone's partner. Guess what happened? You start speaking it out loud, right? And those that want to stay close will, those that don't won't. But how much can you take? Oftentimes widens your capacity in the long run. But it's like how much can you take? I believe if more women called men forward to only move like kings, and if they don't, the woman can say, you know what, I love me so much that I'm only going to align myself with the king. And so if you want to show up, show up. If you don't want to show up, I'm over here doing my thing. But sometimes women get tugged back in, and then he stops doing the work. And that's how you know, okay, this is a game to him. This is his ego. This is not his heart.
I love that you just called that out because women get to a place where they're feeling afraid of being alone and the clock's ticking and they're going to settle. And I'm sure it's the same for men. I can't speak for men. I've got no idea what it's like to be in your experience. I can only speak for myself and the things that I hear as a 41-year-old woman who's going through a separation. That the narrative is you're going to end up alone. And I'm like, actually, I'm really good here because I'm really solid in who I'm building as a woman.
Mhm.
And so often I see and hear of women just being like, well, it's really bad out there in, when in the dating scene. How am I going to find someone? He's not that bad. It's not like he beats me or drinks. And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, the bar is so low, man.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
king bar only. Come on now. And if all women just were like, you know what, king bar only, I think things would change. But so many of us are expecting such crumbs. Men and women are willing to accept crumbs, just so they're not alone,
yeah,
to pacify that feeling that they have. And it's such a shame. So I love that you called that out.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that you can choose to overlook it, but it's still there. You know, most women look at time as what they consider, time for them equals stress. That someone told you that you have a clock. But for me, I've always had this mentality of I'd rather be alone than be around people that make me feel like I'm alone anyways. And am I
Woo.
really alone if I have myself?
Yes.
I only want to call in the right energy because I realized that right? The wrong people in your life, they fake the energy. So they learn you and they know how to speed you up. They know how to slow you down. Right. But the right people in your life, they're gonna feel so calmly, like so they know what to do with their energy and they speak life into you, you know, and they actually show up for you. And a lot of times you just have to practice receiving in order to, I feel like that's I can't even say woman because a lot of men are just blocked when it comes to receiving too. Because somebody told them that no one is going to take care of you. You need to take care of yourself. And there's a truth to that, but there's also a strong belief of if someone gives me something, then it must come with something. But it's like, are you in alignment with your purpose? Are you in alignment with your truth? Because I'm telling you right now, there's so much things that don't come my way. See, I'm aware of the people, of the places, of the energy that tends to try to attack me because I've sat with myself long enough to where if I'm around somebody, my body tenses up. You know,
I do.
or when I'm around people and I'm no longer around them, I'll sit back and be like, what did I pull away from that? How was my body? How was my heart? What information was I giving? And in this season of my life, I realized, wait a minute, if I am, if I have the pour and I didn't receive, um, see, before I was just pouring, and people were just feeding my ego. They would just tell me, oh man, that's so good. This boom, 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 boom. And then I would only hear from them when they needed something from me. The moment I said, nah, I'm not going to do that thing that people, I'm not going to do that no more. I'm able to hone in on my gift and say, you know what, I'm going to use it in the way that I want to use it, not the way that people want me to use it for them. But so men have to get anchored in that because their truth makes the world easier to breathe in.
Ooh, that hit me right there.
I say that because women can handle truth.
Yeah.
They can't learn, they can't grow from a lie. And so women are very flexible, they're very resilient. I've always said women don't want to be strong. Like people think a woman want to be strong. No, she wants to put down the armor, you know. But
Yes, we do.
women are resilient. They're resilient to life's challenges. They're resilient to whatever life throws at them. You know, and they're learning now more so than ever that wait a minute, being strong also means that strength can be also be shown in what I'm willing to let go of. Because now women have the power of choice. 60 years ago, you couldn't vote. 60 years ago, you couldn't get a house, you couldn't drive. 60 years ago, no one valued your voice. And there are a lot of and there are a lot of men who, for one, they do not like it because their voice in their household when they were growing up was not valid, was not valuable. So when they went to speak, hey, you don't talk when adults are talking. Mind your business. Hey, can I talk to you? Hey, no. Did you clean the dishes? Did you do this? Did you do this? And it's like, how do you want kids to grow up and articulate themselves and be emotionally mature and intelligent if inside the household they don't even have a voice?
There are so many ways to unpack that, Alexander. Because one is, and this comes from a place of obviously I grew up that way. To me, it was that is their form of discipline, and I hated it. But it also meant that I spent my life being afraid to speak my truth because I was
Mm-hmm.
absolutely judged is not the right word. I was bullied a lot as a kid for that. But that's the only way that I understand discipline, right? And so the other part of what you said that really resonated is that now that men are feeling what women have been feeling for decades, maybe even centuries, now there's a problem. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I had heard someone say, actually, like if menopause was a thing for men, there would be a cure for it because men would just kick up such a stink over
Yeah.
that it would be fixed immediately. But women are suffering in silence. And so it's interesting to me that now that the men are experiencing what women have been experiencing for so long, and now it's a problem for them, so short-lived in the grand scheme of things of a time, that, we're talking about it as much as we are. And it's not okay, which I find really interesting. So why has it been okay for women? And now that we're taking that on in terms of taking care of ourselves financially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all the things, I don't want to say this, but I feel like I need to say this. I don't want
It's
to
part of
say
your
it, but I'm
truth.
being called to say it. It's the piece around we don't need men anymore
Mm-hmm.
in the current state, because we are
Mm-hmm.
doing everything for ourselves. So how do we create an environment where men are needed again? Is it our perspectives that need to change? Or is it that men needs to start sitting with themselves, and what does that look like? Because there's such a chicken and egg thing going on here, right? It's like, who goes first? Do we go simultaneously? Like, what
Well,
happens?
it's no, I mean, you're right. Like, men are needed, but they're still valued. You know, men are needed, but they're still here, and um, there's still a human desire for connection, right? A craving, a soul craving for like that's my man, and I don't believe that will ever go away because a woman walking to her car at nighttime looks different than a man walking to his car at nighttime.
Yes. Yeah,
But so women still desire at the root. They still desire,
definitely.
not need, because you can have a lot of things to protect you, but they still desire to do life with, partner with, share time with. The opposite, you know. But when collectively women have been experiencing men that have lied to them, betrayed them, manipulated them, used them, abused them, got close to them and used their credit cards and used their money and used their resources that a lot of women have, especially in today's world, because they're like, how does she make money so easy and effortlessly? Oh, wow, she has a nice, men are very simple. You see my place, you see your place. You got books, the bookshelves, da 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 da. The AC is probably good over there, everything, right? You know, so that feeling that men feel of like, wow, that's home. You know, men are living these minimalistic lifestyles now, but they're really desiring when they wake up in the morning that they smell that food in the morning go up their nostrils and they're like, oh, she cooked or she's cooking. you know? So I don't know when it became corny or lame or uncool to say that you desire a partner. You know, that's never really been in my mentality. I had to go through that season of 18 months of, you know what? Yeah, this sucks, but it's not the end. This may hurt, but in time heals. And so I think men look at this journey as healing as this long drawn out thing. And truth be told, and this has just happened in my life, even in the last few months, that I'm learning that there's this thing that's called quantum looping, right? And I understand it in the way of this, how to collapse time. And so men's energy is so strong and so divine when they tap into the God that is in them, their higher self that can align with that. And they say, no more. Okay, I'm going to show up this way. And they put all of their eggs in that basket and not leave one out. Because what they do is they're taking energy from the basket and they're taking it over here and they're leaking energy out literally. So they can't be all in with you or they can't be all in with the woman. Why? because they're leaking energy out. Ah, see that she doesn't have this, or she argues about this, so I'm going to leak this out. Okay, I'm going to leak this out some more. Okay. Oh, she's nagging, she's complaining, she's blaming me, she's no accountability. Okay. And all of a sudden, now he got two whole options, and this is a new thing, and she doesn't know him like that anymore. So guess what? You got to go. I'm gonna go over here. And then he realizes, oh, it's the same thing. And he sees where you're at. Oh, let me come back over here. Hey, I've been missing you. I understand now. I want to show up for you. But she doesn't ask, what have you been doing since we have not been together? What kind of work have you been doing? Was there therapy? Was there coaching? Was there some type of retreats? What kind of awakening have you had? Right? What are some of the things that you've been moving on, like doing in your life? No, it just looks the same because women set up for breadcrumbs and they call it security, you know? And so both people have to look at, what are we co-creating now? And so a lot of men, yes, back to this, they're just leaking energy out. They can't be all the way in because once like they don't trust themselves fully. So you can give them the best love in the world, but if love hurts to them, if they don't trust love, and it could have nothing to do with you or whoever, it could have everything to do with the woman that he first said he loved, which is, his mother. And speaking of which, I texted my son today and I said, hey, how's your mom doing? His mom is sick. And he was like, mommy's legs are weak. And I said, okay. I said, she has like a cold, you know. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, hey, make sure you take care of her and you keep a good eye on her because it's important because when her husband is not around, you are the next man to take care of her. I said, do you see how I take care of my mom? He says, yes. I said, so it's very important that you take care of your mother. Doesn't she take care of you? He says, yes. Okay. Ask her if she needs something. He says, okay, I got you. All right, cool. Love you, man. When men don't have that dialogue with what do you see what can happen? In
Yes.
his mind, he's not thinking about his mama in that way. But hey, son, you are your mom's provider and you are her safe space. You are her protector. You are the next man up. You may be 9, but you need to understand, like, this is a woman. You have 2 sisters. You have a brother. Next man up. And so without that, it's just scattered all over the place. And it never gets course corrected. And the energy just goes all over the place, which is why he can get a woman and he can say, oh man, this is good, but I'm still not satisfied. Because no one loved him enough to say, hey, what are your dreams, goals, and aspirations? Okay, cool. Come with me. We're going this way. I'll help you achieve them. Every man wants to be this lone wolf. I don't need the brotherhood. So it's important. What's up?
The value of men, I don't think, is what's being questioned, Alexander. I think it's that women are just tired of being the men in their lives. And it's interesting that you said that whole thing about going to the car alone as a woman, because what women are afraid of when they're doing that at night, going to the car, whatever, is men preying on them. And yet, the one thing that we desire and feel like we may need for protection is men. So it's like, but at the same time, like I said, we're tired of being the men in our lives. My mum was my dad. I grew up in a single parent household. She raised us. My older sister was more like my mother. And so I saw my own mum become the person who I wish my dad had the audacity to be, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
And I think that's where our fuse is like burnt out, because we're just like, well, it's not that we don't actually need men. We desperately need men, real men, not the
Yeah.
ones who think they're women. We need real men in our lives. But it's becoming increasingly harder to find that because men, I feel and have experienced, are not willing to sit in silence and be with themselves.
Yeah. I think that there's so much value in, again, I have I have a lot of male friends, but I also have a lot of female friends. And I am, I'll admit, I am a unicorn, you know, to the female friend, because, but it gives them, wow, okay, I got an example. And well, there's one, then there could be another one.
There has to be.
There has
Surely.
to be, right? you know?
Running in an imaginary field somewhere, galloping together.
Yeah. Yeah. And there is. And there are a lot of great men out there that are ready to love you as good as you ever imagined. But are you going to create the energetic space for them to come forward? You know, there are. But if you have in your mind that he's going to save me, if you have in your mind that, um, because sometimes rushing things ruin things. And he may just be a great friend that where you say, hey, my tire's flat, he may just show up and because he's a good man. Not a night, not the nice guy, but he's just a good man to say, hey, you know what, I got you. If you need anything, hey, I'm here. And sometimes just women having that community or just having two male friends that are just male friends is the healthiest thing because it also weeds out, you know, the man that is like, oh no, I don't like that. Well, it's like, no, let's unpack that. Because I believe that a woman should have some healthy men in her life. Because why not? Sure, people keep him on his toes. I'm not saying to date the man. I'm just saying, you know, because I don't think women should date multiple guys at once. That's just me. I think it's just about being intentional with your energy and your time and being everywhere invites anything, you know. Um, so yeah, I do know that there are men, and to be honest, just in my coaching practice, I have worked with men that are like on the flip side of what you're saying. I'm like, this this guy's a really good, he's a really good man. But his wife is at the dinner table just texting, checking out. Flower shows up one movie night. If he asks to, if she asks for him for his help, he'll say, "Yeah, I'll be right there. I got you." He'll go out his way just to. And for him, he's the anxious one and she's the avoidant one. But he's doing so much work. Man, I don't know what to do. I'm trying to get her to see, but she don't see me. And the last thing I want to do is to get a divorce, man. We have 3 kids together, man. We got to raise these boys up.
Yeah, but this is also the example that you're setting for your children of if you're going to accept crumbs, then only crumbs are going to be served at the dinner table, my friend.
Yeah, yeah. It's
I just
yeah.
want to
It's
shake
like
everybody.
the good ones, the good men go through it. And I don't think no one talks about how much good men go through it because I feel like men
Oh,
don't
yes.
know how to articulate themselves. So just as much as the good woman is going through it, oh, the good man is going through it too. That's why we gotta help them find each other.
Yeah, I mean, there's that, but also I think because women have been conditioned to, um, it's okay for us to be emotional and talk to each other about things, whereas for men, that is not there. So I think that if they're hiding that part of themselves because of their own wounds or whatever, or they're afraid to show that side of themselves, well, it makes it really hard for them to connect with anybody in their
Mhm.
lives when that piece of themselves is not on display.
Yeah. I think what's missing here in our amazing conversation is the fact that most people do not articulate their needs, and they really have their needs that they should have for themselves bunched up in how they want their partner to show up for them. So, like, they would need their partner to, well, he needs to provide safety. Well, hello, you should be able to cultivate safety within. Well, I need reassurance. You can reassure and affirm yourself. Sure, he can add on to it, right? Oh, well, I want to feel whole. You see what I'm saying? And so a lot of times, because we haven't identified and communicated our own needs with ourselves, we should be inviting our partner to show up for us in a certain way versus saying, hey, you're not meeting this need, you know? And because we're not, we're carrying things that aren't ours. And it's heavy. I just spoke with a guy the other day, and he was like, man, 21 years, man, I've been with my wife, man, for, in the last 21 years. In the last 10 years, she's had lupus. And he's like, man, she just doesn't see what I do for her. She just doesn't see how, she said I work too much. Man, I started to downsize some stuff, and I'm showing up for her, and she's like, why now? Why now? Why now? And not to say that he doesn't have his own stuff going on, and I don't know the whole thing, but there are men that are actually saying, man, I'm not trying to experience the biggest heartbreak of my life because I don't know how to bounce back from this one at 40, at 50, at 60. And we done. So now we go, are you operating from a place of love or from fear? Because if she's trying to give you the invitation or the initiation, mm, that's probably hard for her to trust. Because for the last 5 years, and here's where it gets real, for the last 5 years, in her mind, he's been the problem. Because the prominent state of a person's mind is negative. So even if he's showing up, I need reasons to complain because I'm stuck in this victim mentality now. So I need reasons to complain. So every time you get close, I'm gonna have you like this. You can't get that close to me because now I fear intimacy.
Yeah, I feel that. Once that trust has been eroded, it's very hard to come back from. And then it's like, well, is it the person that has to build that trust within themselves, or is it the person who eroded the trust responsible for regaining that trust?
Yeah, I will answer that for you. It's a man's responsibility to gain trust within himself. She's gonna test you every time that you think you got it. You're gonna come across something, and when you react in a certain way versus respond in a certain way, she's like, "See, I knew it." You gotta, as a man, gotta ask yourself, "Am I willing to go through that fire?" I went to the mother of my kids and said, "Yo, listen, we need to create new history. I'll be good to you, you be good to me." And for whatever reason of the world, that worked. And honestly, man, we're more like brothers and sisters than we are, you know, than we are the parents of two kids, you know. But it's just in a way where, yo, a man has to be able to have a shameless vision of it for his life, okay? And say, hey, baby, we're going here, right? So either you can join the mission or I got to go this way still. And most men are afraid because when you move with that, here you go, you give the woman the power of choice. And now because you're so clear and you're operating your truth, there's that wound. Well, I spoke up, but then I can't control on the other side how she will receive my truth. So now a lot of men will be exposed naked because she says, okay, I'll think about it. Or either she said, it's not going to work for me. Or either she can say, okay, I'm following your lead. Men are so afraid to give women the power of choice because for centuries, they've been operating out of control. And a lot of it has become from the woundedness of their mom.
Can you unpack that for people listening?
The woundedness of their mother. Yeah. So she's the first one. So if she was volatile, if she was emotionally unavailable, because she was trying to she was like my mother, right? Like from 10 to 17, man, I have a phenomenal mother, but from 10 to 17, and she would know and she acknowledges it to this day. She was checked out. She was emotionally unavailable, right? I picked up porn when I was 13 and I felt the sensation and I was like, what is this? And I wanted to tell my mother, but because she was too busy dealing with a guy that was a horrible man, I didn't knock on her door anymore, which I used to about anything. But because he now lived with us, it was like I had to go through him to get to my mother. So instead of I just, okay, well, what's this sensation? Okay, well, let me figure this out. And I was like, whoa. And then it went away. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm not going to tell my mom again. I'll take it. I'll take it on myself. And so I had this thing, man, for like damn near a decade. And it's like I never told anybody else, but this is why I'm with the mother of my kids, and I would still look at other women. I would still right, and it was because like that little small little thing right there tends to be big when you don't deal with it, and then you get into partnership. You may be by yourself. You may it's the way of life. Da 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 da. I got needs. Da da da. Yeah, but it's gonna be exposed. Partnership. When you find yourself going to the bathroom and taking that phone with you and you can't leave it on the bed and you leave that phone on your bed, but now she's next to you. Now all of a sudden you in the shower with this thing and it's glued to you. And she calls it out. And you got some lame excuse as to why you have your phone because you're afraid to put that down. You know? And so there are a lot of men who were met with a mother for, you know, whatever they dealt with in their house. But usually dad wasn't there. Mom was the primary person. And sometimes mom was working one or two jobs. So she couldn't attend to Timmy's needs. And so he had to grow up and be also provider in the household. And so the way that he has been in relationships was based upon what he can give, not what he is receiving back. And he feels like if he is receiving, it's based upon him giving, not just knowing that he is valuable. Not him knowing that his presence alone is just worthy of love and attention to detail. But he feels like he has to give and perform and tap dance just And he's still and in that energy, he never gets the one thing that he deeply that he deeply desires. True connection. He experiences betrayal because he's leading with a dollar. You know, so yes, a lot of men, their mother wound, it shows up in a lot of different ways, and I encourage every man to explore that. For me, I grew up in a household where my mom very much allowed me to speak my truth. She used to always say, Alex, don't let anger be the only time that you express your emotions. And anytime that I got in trouble with something, I used to go to my room and I would throw stuff and make my room a mess. And she would give me these soft three knocks. Boom, boom, boom. She says, hey, you still have a mess to clean up. And that taught me so much, you know? It taught me so much in a way where whatever mess you make, emotional mess, whatever mess you make inside a partnership, you made that mess and it's still yours to clean up. And there are a lot of men who were like, for me, when I talk about the mother of my kids, I don't have to be a part of my kid's life. Let's be clear. Nobody's checking for fathers to be in their kids' life. There's some woman out here that will say, oh, I don't care. You know, I made a choice to say, hold on, wait a minute. Like, I know what it's like. My father wasn't in my life. Okay, so let me show me the best damn dad that I can be. And in the process, I'm also healing my inner child, you know, not through them, but I'm learning certain things that I can, the mother of my children, her husband, I told her and him, I said, yo, I'm thankful for you, bro. And he was like, huh? And I said, man, you were raised with the mom and the dad. So the things that you're actually great at, I'm not the best at, but I know what I'm great at. And I know how I show up for them. Like I struggled in this space still to this day. And my kids know I don't put the work before them, but I love the work that I do so much that I engulf myself in it. And for him, her husband, he'll go to work, he'll come home, play with the kids, have a good time. They'll do movie nights. I still struggle with that to this day. Like, but what I have done in the last month and a half, when we have dinner, no electronics. Hey, let's talk because that's where trust and connection is established. So I'm still learning. And it's not for a woman because that what I'm doing here, it translates inside a partnership. It's like, hey, let's spend this time and let's be intentional. And I just want women to understand that a man being intentional with his time, energy, and what he gives his attention to says a lot about a man. But also, what says a lot about a woman is what she does with her time. How does she value her time? You can't value your time by giving attention to cheap men. You know, so it's like if all you're dealing with men that are disposable, then maybe it's time to say, hey, you know what? Let me take a step back and let me see what this is really about. Because why am I calling in these men? What parts about me is attracting these kind of men? And what can I call forward? And you'll probably see some different things happen.
I think that if everyone approached dating, relationships, and any kind of partnership in that way, a lot would change. A lot would change. A lot would change. I can certainly say, you know, from all the conversations that I have on this podcast, one of the things that really come forward for me in the relationship conversations is that what we put out in terms of energy and what we're willing to accept is exactly what we'll get. The universe provides exactly what we ask for. So
Mm-hmm.
we have to be really mindful what we are actually asking for. It's like this lady I heard on I think it was on YouTube she said, do you believe in miracles? She's like, you have to really believe in miracles. You can't say up here, I believe in miracles, but in your heart, you're like, well, I don't really deserve it, and that probably won't happen for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's
Yep.
not really believing in miracles. And so I took that into all the other contacts and started just, I sat with it and I was just like, that makes sense in so many ways. If you don't believe that you deserve that man or that woman, well, you're going to get someone who doesn't give you those things because
Mm-hmm.
you are not comfortable with that. You're actually not comfortable with that. And I can say from my own experiences over the years, when I realized the things that I wasn't comfortable with, safety within a family, love within a family. My whole family's like disjointed and we escaped war. And so we didn't grow up with my family. And so we were very isolated. So I didn't know what it felt like to be in a big family. And so when we identify those things for ourselves, we then know what our triggers are. And so when that comes up in another form, in another relationship, because it will,
Mm-hmm.
it always comes back around what you're not willing to deal with. Like, how can you sit with that the next time? And if you don't know that it's there, well, you're going to be stuck in the exact same type of problem, situation, circumstance that you were stuck in the previous relationship. And so, how do you help or guide the men and women that you're working with to be able to identify those triggers for themselves and how to avoid them in the next relationship? Maybe not even avoid them, maybe just to be aware of them so they can maneuver around it better.
Yeah. Such a good question. Um, I have a gentle spirit, but my approach in a one-on-one dynamic is a little bit unorthodox and a little bit rough around the edges, if I'm honest with you. Um, and so I just had someone text me today, and I started working with her like last July, and she met this man in December, and she sent me like she's engaged, and she said the one thing about me that stuck out was she needed truth. Truth ain't always pretty. Sometimes you got to stop touching that hot stove. You know it's hot. And so somebody was like, "Well, I'm trying to do this and I'm trying to do that." And it's like, I think as humans, we really underestimate how powerful we are. We all like to believe in God and believe in Jesus and things of that nature, but it's like, man, at the same time, like, yo, Jesus had 3 years in his ministry. You think he had time to play? you know, there's a God like
What do you
energy
mean? Is
inside
there
of
not a
us.
weekend course? Can we not just take a weekend course and
you
get it over
know, it's like, it's. I realize this. I can give somebody the blueprint, front hand, back end. I can give you frameworks, da 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 da, and I can know if you're gonna do something with it or not.
with? Yeah.
And sometimes most people are not ready to receive that. Like I've worked with people who just threw money at problems and realized that, oh, I gotta really meet myself on this one. And when they don't do the homework, I'm checking you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but I'm only do it twice. Well, 3 times because I'm nice, right? Like the first time it's like, okay, I understand life happens because I don't understand that. The second time it's like, oh, this is a pattern. Okay, let me get you right quick. Okay. The third time it's like, hey, listen, like, okay, let's cut the shit out. Like, what are we doing? If you're gonna waste my time, I'm cool. And no, 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 no. And what happens is man, like people have really, especially, I'm gonna be real with you, man, like especially in this conscious space, in this healing space, there are a lot of punks. There are a lot of men that are initiated or whatever place that they feel like they've arrived to, and I know that they get pushed around. Like I can tell that they don't have that backbone, and they're more reluctant to manipulate their partner because they have the knowledge in the language. The one thing that I don't do is in my partnership, like I don't use what I know. The coaching hat comes off, man. Like I don't I'm not reciting any of this stuff, but I embody it. And people don't want to operate from their embodied wisdom. They want to act like someone else has the answers for their life. Like you have a formula that works for you. Let's stop playing with that. So I help people remember who they have always been. And for some reason, it gets people results. I don't deal with the, well, what if a man does this? I don't, because when you know yourself, I don't have to red flag, green flag you all the way down. Repeat it back to yourself about what happened. And you repeat it back. Well, how does that sound? Or I sound like an idiot. Well, that's what you're accepting. Is that what you believe that you were? No. So why are you doing it? What's that about? My mother told me when I was at a very young age, and I can't make this up. She says, Alex, the reason why people have a hard time talking to you in my family, because I don't say that I'm a black sheep, but I really just don't connect with the people that are in my family. Because and my mom said the reason why, you know where I'm going with this, right? Is because when I speak, I don't speak to what's up in here. I speak to what's in here. I only speak truth. Still, tell me about me, please. So when I was out here, like not showing up for the mother of my kids or not operating my best life or my best self or my highest self, no one in my family loved me enough to say a damn thing. But they was all behind the scenes. Hey, Alice is this, Alice, da, 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 da. And they saw me at rock bottom and they said, well, I knew it. Oh, okay. So let me just pocket that, you know. So the only people that were in my corner were my mom, with my sisters, the kids, but I realized that, wait a minute, people that are in your life speaks volumes on what you tolerate and what you accept. There's family members that I don't talk to. I love them. If they call me right now, I would tell you, hey, I gotta get off here. I gotta go out with my cousin, do this. I love you, but go do that over there. And that's my unconditional love. If you need me, I promise you, I'm a great friend. I'm a great brother. Great in all these areas. I will show up, but that day to day, that one probably not me because if you're not doing what you say you're gonna do with your life, I can't really be around you.
Yeah, that deeply resonates. I was told I can't just say whatever comes to my mind. I was told that in my family dynamic. You can't just say whatever's on your mind. I'm like, but it is literally from a place of love. I'm being honest with you. I'm here for you. Like, that is so when you're saying that, I was like, yeah, this is my whole life. Like,
Yeah.
people count on me for truth. That's why you
Hmm.
come to me. You come to me
Yeah.
because I'll tell you the truth. So when you don't come to me, I know that you don't want the truth. And I'm okay
Exactly.
with that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with that now. So in those instances, it doesn't make sense to me to sacrifice my integrity for other people's comfort, right? And
Yeah.
so everything that you said just now, I was just like, yep, black sheep of the family, not because I want to be, but just because I'm here to tell the truth and be myself, which was squashed for a really long time. So I don't know if you experienced that as well in your family dynamic or in your life growing up, but it was very much you can't be this person in life in
Mhm.
general. And I
Yeah.
believed that for a really long time. So I'm glad that you have found your own voice, and I'm relieved that I found mine. What would you say, Alexander, is whether you come across it the most in your line of work, or just believe in for yourself, the patterns, behaviors, or like myths you get around relationships that really need to be unlearned by both men and women? And is it different for men and different for women?
Yeah. Patterns, like self-sabotage is a pattern, you know. I think the invasion of people's personal belongings. Like there are some women who feel the need to go through like a phone. Even if he is showing up best, they're like, wait a minute, this is so I would say like even with that, like a fear of intimacy, you know. It's very hard to see patterns, but you'll see cycles before you see the pattern. You know what I mean? You'll see it happen again, and you're like, hold on. And it because pattern could be reoccurring, right? But a cycle could be, it could be in you went through my phone. Okay, cool. No harm, no foul, right? Like whatever. But I'm also forthcoming with like, hey, you can use my phone to send an email or call your people or change the song. Or I don't have a thing when it comes to the phone. People are weird about the phone thing. I think when you're living in your truth, it's just
If you've got
it
nothing
just
to hide.
it just does what you need it to do. Now, if you have some other stuff inside of there, that's you. But if you're going through my phone when I am sleeping, well, okay, what's showing up here? And some women will try to cut that off and say, well, what led to her even going through the phone, right? Well, what part of you showing up in this moment? I mean, if we're going to take responsibility over our life, right? Like him going through the whatever, it showed up for you, right? See, for me, I don't ever go through anyone's phone, but I know if I'm around someone long enough and they start going through my things, I'm gonna feel like, okay, let me go through her things too. And so sometimes when you're around the wrong energy, the wrong spirits, they put a little drop, a little troop, 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 and then you start. So something could be, and this is something that's happened in my life dating a woman and she'll go, who's that on Instagram? Who's that pretty girl on Instagram? No idea. Let's say that doesn't work out, but let's say for 3 months I kept hearing, who is that girl? Who is that girl? Who is that girl? Now dating someone else, and this woman is talking to a guy, or I see some comments, who's that guy? But I know that that's not me, and I know where it came from. But my nervous system still remembers it, and I have to release that. I have to soothe myself and I have to declutter what came into my life, even though this woman may not even be paying attention to that. But I have to say, you know what? I didn't like how I showed up right there. You only get there by reflecting. And I can go, okay, Alex, this is good. This is good. This is good. This is good. You deserve someone like this. Okay, she's this. She's that. Boom, 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 boom. She's secure. Okay, and sometimes it's you can't go away from that work. If you were met with somebody for a while, again back to the dog thing, it whoa, like why are you so good to me? But it's like, I deserve to be treated with love, kindness, and respect because those are simply the bare minimum. Hello. you know? And so I think some of the patterns, the biggest pattern that I see is people, they just feel like they're not good enough. Like even the woman, I was on live earlier and someone was like, "Oh, this is too much. This is too much. I just rather be single." And I said, "Yeah." And in that right there, I said, in that right there is a very deep thing in your spirit that it says, I'm not worthy of being chosen." But it's you're not choosing you in that moment because there's never a bad time to meet a good person. There never is. But you're letting the universe know that my energy is closed. And so you're gonna get met with emotionally unavailable men because you're not working with the emotionally unavailability within you. And so words have so much power. And I think that think for me, I guess another pattern is we're just finding patterns here. Another pattern is like someone that is not aware of what is coming out of their mouth. And sometimes people, men and women, can be negative. Like you can tell them something and they just go negative. And for me, just like you said, you're not around a lot of men. I don't even have an example to give you because I know when I hear it, you got to get away from me. Brother, sister, you got to go. I don't care if you are the prettiest woman on this planet. You got to go. And someone might say, "Well, Alex, well, why don't you talk to her about it?" Sure, it's valid. Then there's some people out here who don't want to take accountability for what comes out of their mouth either. Well, that's just the way I am. Lets me know you don't value growth. And
Yes.
again, as a man, because I can't speak for all men, have very strong energy. And I believe all men probably have strong energy as well too when they decide. Okay. I have literally said to someone, "Hey, I have to get us both out of this unhealthy dynamic because you can follow my leadership. We're going to go somewhere. I'm dragging you there though. And when we get there, you're not going to love who you are. And I love you so much so that I have to let you go." And I used to feel like, man, only thing that could make a breakup is like something bad that happened. But sometimes it's just loving somebody so much so that you're like, "I love you so much, I gotta let you go."
Yeah, that's really important because it doesn't mean anything other than I just know that I don't even know how to articulate this in my own way, but um, choosing to go where you're choosing to go, right? When you start to get on that healing journey, you realize that perhaps you want a different life for yourself or you're becoming a different person throughout that process, which everyone does, when they really commit to that process of getting in true alignment with who they are within. And the person who's with them wants to come along but is not willing to do that level of work, doesn't want to participate and give that same level of commitment. And you can see it's starting to become detrimental. Having to pull someone, it's like you said, and what I heard, or at least what I felt in my body, was carrying the weight of the both of us when that's not what I'm doing the work for.
Yeah.
You've got to carry your own weight. It's that radical accountability around your own healing. Everyone needs to get on that radical accountability
Yeah,
of their own healing.
yeah.
It's not up to me.
And
It's not up to you.
yeah, and it's not like I'm saying you're not good enough for me.
Yeah, that's massive. Yes, please dive into
Yeah,
that.
I'm saying that there are some people that are in their journey that are focused on healing, and there's others that are focused on expansion and knowing what season you're in and sitting with it. Like I don't do the games. I don't do the well. Let me just it's I got a pretty woman next to me. Like but it's like let's be intentional lovers, and wherever that leads us, that's where that leads us. And when you or me don't feel that this is the best thing for us, let's be honest about that. Let's unpack that because that may even lead us to stay connected. That may lead us to separate. How much truth can you bear? So it's like if I'm having conversations of, man, I don't want to be in a loveless marriage and I don't want to be in a marriage that feel like I'm not like that, I'm in a prison. But if you're like, when are we getting married? When are we getting married? When are we getting married? And I'm like, can we unpack my two things first? Like, I'll do whatever for you, but can we just unpack mine? And it's like, no, you know, because I want this. I want the toy. I want the shiny toy that lets my mom and dad know that I'm chosen. I want to let social media know that I'm chosen. I want to let my friends know that I'm chosen. I want to let my past partners know that I'm chosen. So I need this ring. And because you're a healthy man, I need you to give it to me. I, I, I can't do that if I can't start to unpack things that I want to unpack, because then I can't operate in my truth. And if me minimizing my voice soothes another person, let me go from there.
Yeah. Why is this work so important to you?
This work is so important to me because I know what it's like to not have direction, to not have a map. I know what it's like to go through life literally going down the wrong path and everyone saying nothing. I know what it's like to have a bunch of people in the stands cheering for me every time I make a shot. And I know what it's like to leave the gym and is it's quiet. I know what it's like to be a high achiever and to do the thing that everyone told you to go do. Go make a lot of money, go grow social media, go build a business, go da 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 da. And to be inside, you're like, am I good enough? I know what it's like to not be chosen, only to choose yourself. You know, my name is Alexander, and for a large part of my life, I reduced my name to Alex, only to realize that through my healing journey, I said, Mom, who named me? She said, Your dad. He said it was a strong name. For many years, I didn't like my father, but he gave me the biggest gift because of what my name represents. You know, the leader, the defender of man. And for many years, I've said, why would that be I don't want to help lead no man. Because I had to go through my life myself. So if a man wanted to, then he got to learn how to figure it out. I realized, okay, I'm called to it. That's why. My earliest friend, 8 years old, helping him. And then, what, almost 30 years later, still helping people. Not because I need something from them, but because I feel called to it. And when I do things that I'm called to, my life is easy. And I think for most men, when they do things, when they step up to the plate, their life is easy. But when they ignore the calling that has been placed over their life, I can raise my hand and say that my life was the hardest. And so there are so many men that don't know that they need someone who looks like me, who talks like me. People told me that, man, no one like me that is black talks like me, that knows what he knows, or that has tattoos, or wears a baseball hat. Like, nah, you can't do what you do. I had teachers that didn't know my life tell me that I couldn't read, write, or speak well. And I did grow up with a speech impediment, but it's the thing that actually brings people together. It's the thing that I was like, okay, I've written 7 books only to realize those books were created with my back against the wall. So what could I create now from a space of love? And I just want men to understand that, and even women to understand that, something that my mother told me, don't worry about what it looks like, worry about how it feels. And I'm in a space right now in my life where I'm just anchored in, like, just honoring how it feels versus how it looks. Because sometimes we're in a thing that looks very good. Happy anniversary, 15 years, but inside you crying to sleep every night because it don't feel right. You are in a career, in a business that massive successful, but inside, imposter syndrome. Am I good enough? And so this work for me is just like, it's my life's work. I'm not the person that cares to be on social media, but God has called me to be on social media. It's in a dream says, baby boy, I need you to pour. I'm like, nah, because if I pour, if I speak, then why would they pay me? you know?
Yeah.
And just pour, just pour, just pour, just pour, just pour. I'm going to never have you go empty. And here we are. I feel charged. I feel alive. You asked me earlier how my heart was doing. I said, I feel good. I actually feel strong. My heart feels strong, you know? And so I just want to encourage everyone else, like, to ask themselves, what condition is their heart in? From what they're doing right now in that relationship, in that career, how they're showing up in their life, what condition is their heart in? And answer it truthfully and write it down.
So, if I said to you, what piece of advice would you give the listeners today? One piece of advice or one thing they can do, would that be it, or is there something else?
One of my favorite quotes, and I don't even know who wrote this quote, but I've been saying it since I was a kid. Um, the bird on the branch is not afraid of the branch breaking because his trust is not in the branch, it's in its wings.
Oh, I like that. I need to know who said that now. Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
The bird does not worry about the branch breaking because his trust is in his wings. I got me, God got me. Yeah, we're good. Anything outside of that, bonus.
Amazing.
So now, what can you create from that? What would you do if you knew you could not fail? And go do that.
God damn. Alexander, this conversation has been so pouring into my cup today. Thank you so much for all the insights that you've shared. Please tell the listeners where they can find you and how they can work with you.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you because I reached out to you and I was like, yo, what's up? Like, get me on the pod. Like, so I love the work that you do.
Thank you.
Where people can find me is, I guess Instagram works for now. Instagram has all the links, the link in the bio, and it has everything. So AD the greatest. Um, yeah, AD the greatest. And yeah. That's where they can find me if they want to find me. If they want to find
Amazing.
truth, you know.
That's what we do on this podcast. So when you did
They
reach out
say
to me, I was just like,
follow
yes,
at
I
your
like.
own risk.
Yes, exactly. We're only talking truth and real stuff on this show and your Instagram. So I will include that in the show notes for anyone who's interested in connecting with Alexander Dixon. Is his whole name Alex Dixon, but I prefer Alexander because it is a very strong name. So
Thank
please head
you.
on over to Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and follow the Skin I'm In podcast to be the first to know when this and other episodes drop. Alexander, thank you so much for being a guest on the Skin I'm In podcast.
Thank you.
The need to embark on a self-healing journey has never been clearer. Too often, we see the blame game, especially on social media, and most commonly in the comments section of a post that's been taken completely out of context and clearly triggered someone in the audience. If women did this, then men wouldn't do that, and vice versa. Women do it all the time as well. But here's the truth. When you know your worth and are committed to growth and expansion of self, your energy shifts. You stop attracting, entertaining, and tolerating what doesn't honor your deepest needs. And do not be fooled, my friends. I talk about this all the time on the show. The work is not a joyride. There are breakdowns, many of them, but do you know where they lead? Right onto the doorstep of a breakthrough, because you see, we need to be brought to our knees sometimes so that our heart can be cracked open. It's the only way the light gets in. So when we as humans have the courage to meet our truest selves, to sit in the discomfort of who we've been conditioned to be, and take responsibility of how small we have been living and choose a different path, we have a unique opportunity to rise and to be granted the love we so desperately seek outside of ourselves. We actually learn to cultivate that from within. And that's when you turn into a magnet for relationships that serve your highest good rather than being the dumping ground for someone else's trauma. With gratitude and grace, have a wonderful day.